Hey, what's up, you guys? It's your girl Jay Pritzy again, and let me just say this. This is probably like my third time. I don't even know what happened to the other update on Real Housewives of Atlanta, but hopefully, keeping my fingers crossed, this one I will be able to upload. So hopefully, everybody had a great Monday. I'm just gonna dive into it. Okay, so when our show first came on or whatever, they was giving us the visuals on the ladies' homes. Kenya Moore, the Manor, Sheree, the Chateau, and also Cynthia's Lake House. And I did enjoy each one of the homes. Sheree getting up. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood, with these high ceilings, pulling back the drapes. Cynthia getting in her beautiful bathtub. And also, Kenya is living in her modern home. And, sitting on the white and the black and white contrast. I'm all for the background scenes. That's me. I just love that home decor. So I was really, really getting into that. And I was just like, wow, it's just amazing how over the years the ladies have come so far. Cynthia is out of their townhome into this lake house out there, which is so beautiful, new chapter in her life. Then we also have Kenya Moore, who's now is married, and everything else. And she's currently living in her home. Well, can y'all remember? Do y'all remember when Kenya was coming to the show, whatever her second season on the show, and she was in between homes, couldn't find a house, so she was living in these, looking for a place of living and everything else, and it was like some raggedy hotels that they were showing. I just remember all of that or whatever. And then, of course, we know she finally found her house, and then she moved into the manor. So it was just fun looking at all those visuals, and my mind just went back to all of that great stuff. And let's not forget Chateau Charest, okay? It's been a long in the making, but it was well worth it to see her come and to actually live in it. And it's just beautiful from top to bottom from what we see. So let me just dive into it. Let's just say this: what I wasn't ready for Noelle to be going to see her boyfriend. She's only 19 years old. But she's very, very mature for her age. You could tell because sometimes Cynthia be getting her advice from her, and it's like she gives Cynthia the truth, and I really like that about her, whatever. But what I didn't like was Cynthia's asking her about Peter. Did Peter ask about her? And Noelle looking at her like, no. She's like, well, don't tell him I asked about him or whatever. But Cynthia goes on this date with this guy, and the guy is actually 28, going on 29 or something like that. But her friends was telling her that he was like 30 or 31. But Cynthia's like, the guy kind of reminds her of Norbert. I'm like, that's a horrible. But I can see how she said that. Well, a better looking Norbert. Don't nobody want to look like Norbert, Cynthia. But that was the best way that she can describe him. And we already know that she's not into him. And Noelle is saying that that's a no because he's closer to her age to be dating versus her mom, which I can understand that. Like I say, still not ready for her to be going off to Charlotte to go meet her boyfriend. These kids are growing up really fast on TV, and some of the stuff I'm not ready for. But I'm not her mom. Cynthia Bailey is her mom. So, moving along with that, also, Kenya calls Brandon, and she sits there twirling her little drape thing or whatever when you get married, veil. And her dress was really cute. It was simple. It was more beach like, and her wedding was on the beach. And she's sitting there, hi Brandon, I'm just sitting here getting the little sand out of. I want to say, can you stop, please? Ain't no sand, ain't no particles in it or whatever. But of course, Brandon is that friend that we can all use because no matter what, Brandon is so ride or die for Kenya. But what's the funny part? Brandon wasn't even at the wedding. Who the hell was at this wedding of hers? But that's one thing, and he's telling her don't worry about the negative and everything else, and she has a meltdown, and was talking to one of the producers. She was like she don't want to get divorced. A pastor was gonna bless their their marriage and all this other stuff. And, it's just a lot going on. He's not eating, he's not sleeping, or whatever. And I'm like, is Kenya adding to this? Because what man is not eating and sleeping over the stuff, the gossip? I don't know. Maybe he's just very much in touch with his feminine side. I really don't know. But I was like, that don't sound good. Like, or else it just sound good for TV. I'm really not for sure. But maybe he's not used to all of this pressure and he doesn't know how to deal with it. But I'm just like, if he's a banker, he's a businessman and everything else, sometimes, you think people that who understand business could understand reality of life. I don't know if her husband is like that or not. Not to make him a bad person about it, but it's just like you should have known what you was getting yourself into. The internet is out there. If you're a businessman, I'm for sure you can hire one of your assistants to look into Kenya more, or hire somebody to find out exactly who is this woman before you decide to walk down the aisle. And apparently his mama doesn't approve of Kenya too, which is heartbreaking for Kenya. It's just a lot of things, a lot of juiciness. I would really want to know, but then part of me feels like that if this is for real, let's give them a little space. But we definitely really need to know what is really going on with Kenya and this new husband of hers. Okay. Um. Also, it was Shamia. I don't know if they give Shamia a peach in the future after she gets married. I really don't know. But I was trying to figure out what did her bridal party or whatever it was, what was it about? She's not even a housewife. But did I enjoy it? Absolutely. I like Shamia. I think she's a beautiful woman, and she seems like she has a great spirit, great energy on her. It's just so sad to see her and Portia relationship is not the same. And Portia is already, it's been placed out there that Portia is not going to her wedding. Her wedding is in Africa. I just feel like, what? Like, who does that? Shamia does that, okay? So, Candy, that's one thing I love about Candy. Candy is a friend. If you notice, if Candy for you, she's going to ride with you. She's going to support you. Even some of the things on the show that she may not agree with or whatever, but Candy always try to pull forth. She always try to be the neutral support system and everything else. But now these days, Candy, I don't know what's really going on. Maybe because of things what happened last season or whatever. And Candy's been more vocal on some things, but she keeps accepting. What I'm tired of Candy doing is accepting hers from Portia. I understand you don't want to be mean, but it's not a good look that Carmen was on the scene at the bridal show, and I mean the bridal party, and making little jabs at Portia. All of the ladies look really good, and it was just kind of like Carmen saying how, I guess, well, let me just say this. Portia made it her thing about that she couldn't make it. She tells Sheree, I got the condition. I'm like, what condition is she talking about? I don't even really remember, but she said it has something to do with low blood pressure or something she was saying. And Karma was like, with her legs, she keep her legs in the air and everything else. And, she was making her little jabs over there about keeping her legs hot, in the air. But I felt like, Carmen, it's not a good look for you because you're a Candy friend and you're coming off being a mean girl. And they always like to refer to Carmen as the help of Candy, her employees and everything else. And it doesn't look good for Candy because it's like people are always defend Candy, but like, well, Candy this, or whatever. But people be like, Candy be having her little dirt, using them to do her dirt. I necessarily don't feel like Candy had them to be like, yeah, go after her and everything else. I feel like they feel the need because they know Candy not going to address it. But Candy don't put a stop to it either. She over there laughing about it and kiki, kaka, whatever. So I usually like Carmen and everything else, but I didn't like Carmen in this light. It's like too much. And then I didn't like her look. It was dated to me. And she over there trying to be a mean girl. I ain't like that. Like, don't try to come for somebody and you're not all the way together. And I like Carmen on other days, but I don't like nobody being mean either, just for no reason. But Portia, on the other hand, I'm a little upset at Portia for the simple fact that Shamia has been a friend to her. This your grade school friend. I mean, you really truly y'all know each other for real. But Candy, I mean, she's been more of a friend to Shamia than Portia has. Portia is always MIA. She's always one sided. The only person that she's ever genuinely was a friend with on the show is Portia. And it goes back to what Nene has been saying till the day of time, that she showed herself to be a friend to Portia. And Portia never is always, she's on the receiving end. She's always taking, but she's not a giver. But when it came time for Phaedra, she was always sucking up in this freaking frat and coming out. Maybe because they both needed a storyline together and all of this other stuff. But she did consider Phaedra as her true friend. But it's not looking good for your grade school friend, and you're not there for her, and you just always distance from her. And I don't really like that, you know. And another thing I don't like about Portia is that although she looks so amazing, she looked just like a doll. You know, oh yeah, Toya Wright was on there too. They had a little game that they played, but let me stay on task. I just really feel like that instead of saying you got a condition, keep it real with your friend and let her know, girl, that's a little far. I have other engagements that's going on here. But you know, I'll be with you in spirit and everything else. I mean, quit making up the excuses about the tickets and this and that. It's too expensive. If I'm not mistaken, you did receive a Birkin bag. Was it $40,000 or $80,000? I don't remember, but I remember it was a lot. It was a lot for you to cash in to go to your friend thing. I mean, she lives a luxury life. So, and for her to be saying that she has this condition, it's like she's traveled over continents with the Housewives plenty of times. I think she went with them twice to Africa, if I'm not mistaken. But it's just like, Portia, just be real about it, just be warm about it, and just let her know. But quit trying to act like you're going to take a break from friends, because it just showed that you're a fake friend if that's the case. And I'm not beating up on Portia. I just want Portia to be better. You know, she always have a thing about, well, she didn't like how Shamia came at her, you know, in front of Candy and them knowing what's going on. But it's like, you doing stuff in front of Shamia, in front of Candy now to make her respond that way. It's like, what gets me with people is that they want to be play the victim, but it's like you got to remember what you're putting out there too, you know? So nobody's perfect, but of course, after, while the bridal shower was going on, they was playing this thing about putting the winner in the hole. Sheree was the winner, of course, because she was so hyped all about it and everything else. But what was the funny part was that Portia just thought that Sheree was Kim Kardashian. For real? Really? Come on now. Come on now. Like, even Ray Charles could see that in his grade. That there are two different races going on right there, okay? But Sheree is going through this thing about telling her children about what happened with her and Bob. She really, you know, want to tell them, but she don't want to break down. So she was told by a life coach to get with a group of friends and everything and discuss that. So that was pretty interesting as well, because her friends was two guys and a girl. Now, what's interesting about it is that Sheree had two girls and a boy. But her friend that's a male, she wanted him to play one of her daughters. And the girl, I guess, that was more like stud-like or whatever, she wanted that to be Cairo. Which I was like, huh? You know, your friend can't be in role play for a little bit instead of being Mr. Dainty. I don't know, but it looked like he could have possibly played that part, but Sheree just did her roles or however. So, but them her friends, and they did it at Candy House. Candy played Sheree. So that was good. Like I say, Candy is good for showing support issue for you, which that's what I do like about that. What else happened on this show? That's pretty much sums everything up. I'm ready to see Nene again on the show, because she wasn't on this episode, but she was on the first one. It was just okay. It just said like mainly it was at Shamia's bridal party. And of course, Portia's sister is moving with her and with this baby. So that's going to be an interesting dynamic because Portia like her space and her sister had. See, it's one thing when you could come over and I could deal with you, and it's another when you live with a person, okay? And so that's going to be different. So we just got to keep our eyes open on that. And I'm just ready for more to come for Housewives. Old Lady Gang sound like it's doing really great. And, I do love seeing Candy, embrace her customers and everything else. I think that's why her business is flourishing. My cousin was able to go to the Old Lady Gang. When he went to Atlanta, he said that the food was really, really good. So I trust him on that because our taste was are the same. But I guess other than that, that's all I have for you guys. So if you haven't checked out the other videos, I will be uploading them as well. So check them out. And I want to hear from you guys. Let me know what are some of the highlights that piqued your interest in the shows and stuff like that. But yeah, other than that, I'm gone. And I holler back at you all later this week. Until then, I holla. Peace.